Welcome into the live, everybody. Welcome. Thank you all so much for coming. This is Trev from Trevessence, and today we are going to continue the reading of Spare. We were a little late this morning, but better late than never. I am here. Once I say I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here at all costs. So here we are. We are going to continue reading the book Spare by the wonderful Prince Harry. Yes, we are going to read every single page of this book. For those of you who have been following me, I hope you have been enjoying the reading as much as I enjoy bringing it to you. And I hope you will stay with us until this book is finished and others begin. All right. We are now on to page 24. Actually, I think it's page. I'm reading it off my Kindle, but I think it is page. So we're gonna call it page 24. If it's chapter, oh well. Whatever it is, we're gonna call it page, and we are going to continue reading. So I think we are on to page 24. For those of you who are just coming into the channel, if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, now is a great time to do so. And also, if you have not yet listened to the other 3 readings, you might want to listen to them and then come on and catch up with us. All right, we're going to read an hour a day, which I think is just about enough for the ears, right? And to keep the suspense going. All right, so here we go. Without much more to say, we are going to move right on. But once you come in, guys, hit the like button and share out the stream and invite your friends to come on over and listen to the book, because I know many of you won't even buy the book. But anyway, it is my absolute pleasure bringing it to you. Either way. Daily is in the house. How are you doing, Delia? AG, love, how you doing? How are you doing? So good to see you. Daily, sister, I just come from work. I'm still in the car, everything, but I gotta do what I got to do. We gotta go upstream if that's what it takes. All right, you know the thing. You know the thing said, right? All right, we're on to page 24. As a royal, you were always taught to maintain a buffer zone between you and the rest of creation. Even working a crowd, you always kept a discreet distance between yourself and them. Distance was right. Distance was safe. Distance was survival. Distance was an essential bite of being royal. No less than standing on the balcony, waving to the crowds outside Buckingham Palace, your family all around you. Of course, family included distance as well. No matter how much you might love someone, you could never cross the chasm between, say, monarch and child, or heir and spare, physically, but also emotionally. It wasn't just Willie's edict about giving him space. The older generation maintained a nearly zero tolerance prohibition on all physical contact. No hugs, no kisses, no pats. Now and then, maybe a light touching of cheeks or on special occasions. But in Africa, none of this was true. In Africa, distance dissolved. All creatures mingled freely. Only the lion walked with his head in the air. Only the elephant had an emperor's strut. And even they weren't totally aloof. They mingled daily among their subjects. They had no choice. Yet there was predation and prey. Life could be nasty and brutish and short, but to my teenage eyes, it all looked like distilled democracy, utopia. And that wasn't even counting the bear hugs, the high fives from all the trackers and guides. On the other hand, maybe it wasn't the mere closeness of living things that I liked. Maybe it was the mind-boggling number. In a matter of hours, I'd gone from a place of aridity, sterility, death, to a wetland of teeming fertility. Maybe that was what I yearned for most of all, life. Maybe that was the real miracle I found in the Okavango in April of 1999. I don't think I blinked once that whole week. I don't think I stopped grinning, even while asleep. Had I been transported back to the Jurassic period, I couldn't have been more awed. And it wasn't just T-Rexes that had me captivated. I loved the littlest creatures too, and the birds. Thanks to Addie, clearly the savviest guide in our group, I began to recognize hooded vultures, cattle egrets, southern carmine bee-eaters, African fish eagles in flight. Even the bugs were compelling. Addie taught me to really see them. Look down, he said. Note the different species of beetle. Admire the beauty of larvae. Also, appreciate the Baroque architecture of termite mounds, the tallest structures built by an animal besides humans. So much to know, Harry, to appreciate. Right, Addie? Whenever I went with him on a wander, whenever we'd come upon a fresh carcass crawling with maggots or wild dogs, whenever we had stumbled on a mountain of elephant dung sprouting mushrooms that looked like the artful Dodger's top hat, Addie never cringed. Circle of life, Harry. Hey, hey, AG, what's up? Delia say, yes, do you think for me? Look at my lovely Joseph. Oh, Joseph, how you doing? Happy Monday to you all, guys. Happy Monday. Thank you all so much for coming. You know, I'm always here for y'all, and y'all are always here for me, and I sincerely appreciate it. Let's continue. Of all the animals in our midst, Addie said, the most majestic was water. The Okavango was just another living thing. He had walked its entire length as a boy with his father, carrying nothing but bedrolls. He knew the Okavanga inside and out and felt for it something like romantic love. Its surface was a poreless cheek, which he often lightly stroked. But he also felt for the river a kind of sober awe, respect. Its innards were death, he said, hungry crocs, ill-tempered hippos. They were all down there, in the dark, waiting for you to slip up. Hippos killed 500 people a year. Addie drummed it into my head over and over, and all these years later, I can still hear him. Never go into the dark water, Harry. One night around the fire, all the guides and trackers discussed the river, shouting stories about riding in, swimming in, boating in it, faring it, everyone talking over each other. I heard it all that night. The mysticism of the river, the sacredness of the river, the weirdness of the river. Speaking of weirdness, the smell of marijuana wafted on the air. The stories grew louder, sillier. I asked if I could try. Everyone guffawed. Sort of. Willie looked at me in horror. But I wouldn't back off. I pleaded my case. I was experienced, I said. Heads swung around. Oh, really? Enners and I had recently pinched 2 6-packs of Smirnoff Ice and drunk them till we passed out, I boasted. Plus, Tiggy always let me have a nip of her flask of stalking trips. Slew gin. She was never without it. I thought it best to leave out the full breadth of my experience. The adults exchanged sly glances. One shrugged, rolled a new joint, passed it to me. I took a puff, coughed, retched. African weed was much harsher than Eton weed, and the high was less too. Hey, Jordan, what's up? But at least I was a man. No, I was still a wee baby. The joint was just fresh basil wrapped in a bit of filthy rolling paper. Hey, Jordan, what's up? Hugh and Emily were old friends of Pa's. They lived in Norfolk, and we often went to visit them for a week or two during school holidays and summers. They had 4 boys with whom Willie and I were always thrown together, like pups into a bunch of pit bulls. We played games, one day hide and seek, the next capture the flag. But whatever the game, it was always an excuse for a massive scrap. And whatever the scrap, there were no winners, because there were no rules. Hair pulling, eye gouging, arm twisting, sleeper holes, all was fair in love and war at you and Emily's country house. As the youngest and smallest, I always took the brunt, but I also did the most escalating, the most asking for it, so I deserved everything I got. Black eye, violet welt, puffed lip, I didn't mind. On the contrary, maybe I wanted to look tough. Maybe I just wanted to feel something. Whatever my motivation, my simple philosophy when it came to scrapping was, more, please. The six of us cloaked our pretend battles in historic names. You and Emily's house would often be converted into Waterloo, the Somme, Rorke's Drift. I can see us charging each other, screaming, Zulu! Battle lines were often bloodlines, though not always. It wasn't always Windsor versus others. We'd mix and match. Sometimes I was fighting alongside Willie, sometimes against. No matter the alliances, though, it often happened that one or two of you and Millie's boys would turn and set upon Willie. I'd hear him crying out for help, and down would come the red mist like a blood vessel bursting behind my eyes. I'd lose all control, all ability to focus on anything but family, country, tribe, and hurl myself at someone, everyone, kicking, punching, strangling, taking out legs. You and Emily's boys could deal with that. There was no dealing with. Get him off. He's mad. I don't know how effective or skilled a fighter I was, but I always succeeded in providing enough diversion for Willie to get away. He'd checked his injuries, wipe his nose, then jump right back in. When the scrap finally ended for good, when we hobbled away together, I always felt such love for him, and I sensed love in return.